welcome. Thank you so much for being here. We knew that today was going to be a packed house because Gauranga Prabhu is here with us, and everyone comes when Gauranga Prabhu comes because everyone loves Gauranga Prabhu. So thank you so much for being here. And I would just like to, I think you all already know and love Gauranga Prabhu so much, but I'll introduce him anyways. He's actually a graduate from IIT in Bombay, and he's a complete social welfare catalyst. He's a member of ISKCON's GBC, Governing Body Commission, and actively involved in enhancing leadership, effectiveness, and governance of temples and communities globally, traveling around the world, not just speaking to people, but developing projects. It's very beautiful and inspiring to me when you see someone who's gone extremely deep in their sadhana and their spiritual practice and their love for Krishna, and at the same time is an expert manager who teaches us how to try and follow in his footsteps. He's a director of ISKCON's Govardhan Eco Village, which if you haven't been to GEV, it is completely life-changing. It is non-different than Sri Vrindavan Dham, and it has all of the major temples. It has the Yamuna River, it has the Govardhan Hill, which I've heard stories about Gauranga Prabhu making that Govardhan Hill. And he's, GEV has won many awards, including United Nations World Tourism Organization in 2017, and he's gotten GEV accredited to multiple United Nations bodies, which is huge and really changes the face of ISKCON and how people perceive ISKCON in the world. He sits on the board of the Govardhan School of Public Leadership, which prepares students for the Civil Services exam, and he's also the administrative director of Bhaktivedanta Research Center, BRC, which creates libraries of Vedic literatures and manuscripts. He is also authored 2 national bestseller books, Art of Resilience and The Art of Focus, and he has spoken in TEDx events like Intel, Salesforce, Google, etc., inaugurated the Govardhan Anakshetra program at the Govardhan Eco Village with an intention to distribute free sanctified food amongst the pilgrims and villagers in Palghar district, and he is one of the senior-most disciples of His Holiness Radhanath Swami, and is very, very beloved by him. Thank you so much for being here. It is such an honor. He's going to speak on the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की, गौर भक्त वृंद की, जय गौर ब्रह्मानंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ कृष्णपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण। Hare Krishna. On the occasion of Purushottam Adhik Mas, which is a very special month where we describe the glories of the Srimad Bhagavatam, I will speak on the 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Srimad Bhagavatam is a literature which manifested in the form of a dialogue between Shukadeva Goswami and the king of the planet who was facing death. The cause of all fear which we experience in life is change. The prospect of change terrifies us. The prospect of change sends tremor down our spine. And people are struggling in different ways to cope with changes which occur in their lives. Amongst all the changes which we experience, the greatest, most powerful and irreversible change is when the soul changes its body, and that's known as death. And so the context of the Srimad Bhagavatam is all of us are trying to solve various problems in life through technology, through education. And so many people are promising solutions to so many problems in life. The question is, does death have a solution? Can there be a solution to the problem of death? So for someone who is not informed, this question may appear to be far-fetched or ridiculous. But the ancient wisdom from the East and also all the other spiritual traditions, they do let us know that yes, death is a problem which can be dealt with, and there could be a solution to it. I was in a tourism conference representing the Govardhan village, and someone met me in that conference and said, "What are you doing here in a tourism conference? You are a monk." So in Sravanam, how can you be in a tourism conference? I said, "Arey, didn't you know that spirituality is also tourism?" He said, "Really? What is the connection of spirituality and tourism?" I said, tourism is to take the body from point A to point B. Spirituality helps you take the soul from point A to point B. So we are all trying to help the journey of the soul. And hence, when we refer to a spiritual process, we are referring to the ability to plan beyond what we are used to planning. People do family planning, their education planning, profession planning, asset planning, their property planning. All kinds of planning is part of our life. But all of these planning is only relevant till death. So therefore, when we speak about material life and spiritual life, material life refers to the entire gamut of activities which can be pursued, planned and executed till death. And therefore, when you speak to people from religious traditions, spiritual traditions, their business begins only when you start planning for a journey beyond death. And therefore, whether it is Christian tradition, Jewish tradition, Islamic tradition, Buddhist tradition, Jain, Hindu, whatever, all spiritual traditions are helping us plan our journey beyond death. So many times people may, come to a temple seeking some improvement in their current lifestyle, or de-stress, or adding some extra income in their life by praying to God or whatever. But that's not the core business we are in. There may be others in this world who are more expert in supporting you in your journey in life till death. When you start thinking that yes, for me a priority is planning for my life beyond death, then we are in business. And that's exactly the domain we operate in. And so the literature which describes this in detail is known as the Srimad Bhagavatam, which was spoken when a powerful emperor who had everything under his control, and all armies were always successful, was completely sinless, was a devotee of Krishna who saw Krishna within the womb of his mother. Tasmat namna Vishnurata iti loke bhavishyati. He is known as Vishnurata because there was a nuclear weapon which was thrown at his mother's womb when he was in the mother's womb. And Krishna entered and protected him. So Krishna personally protected this gentleman, and his name is Parikshit. Na sandeho mahabhaga mahabhagavato mahan. So he is described as Mahabhaga, highly fortunate, and Mahabhagavata, a great devotee. And so one would imagine that if I take to spirituality, the purpose of spirituality is provides me insurance against ill fate. That's the misconception. So now, Parikshit is cursed by a sage's son to die in 7 days and 7 nights because Parikshit in a fit of anger puts a dead snake around Shamik Rishi's neck, and his son Shringi is very angry and upset and curses him. So this was a clear case of injustice because the sentence which was pronounced on Parikshit was not commensurate with the mistake which he did. So Parikshit would have responded politically, would have responded emotionally, but he decided to respond devotionally. So therefore, this entire literature, the Srimad Bhagavatam, is a book which teaches us how to respond devotionally when we are in difficult situations. Why we should respond devotionally? If you are interested to drive your way to your desired destination after death, if you are seriously interested in that journey, then it is worth investing in a devotional response. If that's not a priority, then do whatever you like. No problem. So therefore, depending on the objective and the end goal, then everything else falls back accordingly. So therefore, Parikshit Maharaj decides that yes, I have been cursed. Yes, I can also counter curse. I have the power. But I would rather prefer to plan my journey beyond death. Because whether after 7 days or after 7 years or after 70 years, ultimately I have to die. But if I get an opportunity to plan my journey, decide my journey, fix my journey, and ultimately accomplish my destination after death, and go to the kingdom of God, Krishna's abode, why not give it a shot? And therefore, he sits down and is surrounded by sages. And one prominent sage, Shukadeva Goswami, arrives there and he starts explaining to him the entire journey of how he should plan to purify his consciousness so that at the moment of death, he is actually able to go to that destination, Krishna's abode. So this Srimad Bhagavatam spans 18,000 verses, 12 cantos. First 9 cantos is 9,000 verses, 10th, 11th and 12th canto is another 9,000 verses. So it's a whole series of 12,000 verses, 18,000 verses which take us through this journey and give us an idea and glimpse of how we can plan our journey beyond death. And that would include making changes in our day-to-day life, all through our life, every moment, making choices with integrity, with maturity in such a way that we are ultimately able to respond with devotion and remember Krishna at the moment of death. So that's the context of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the 12 cantos. And the 10 topics of this Bhagavatam are described as Atra Sarga Visargascha Sthanam Poshanam Manvantara Ishanavata Nirodha Muktirashraya. What are the 10 topics? The first 2 topics is Sarga and Visarga. And what's the understanding of Sarga and Visarga? The soul, having left the kingdom of God, is trying to act independently in this world, trying to fulfill the egoistic tendencies of trying to be the controller and proprietor and enjoyer. And therefore, the soul needs to be given an opportunity to fulfill those desires in rebellion against Lord. So the idea here is that when someone wants to rebel against me, am I able to facilitate that rebellion, support that rebellion, and make all the arrangements for that rebellion? Normally, we would want to thwart that rebellion, stop that rebellion, and would feel offended by that rebellion. But this is a revelation of the heart of Krishna. The soul says, I want to rebel against you, I want to go against you, I want to be independent of you. And Krishna says, okay, I'll provide you a whole list of varieties how you can do that. So Krishna provides facilities for the soul to be within multiple bodies, millions of bodies, 8.4 million species of life, and various universes within which the soul can enjoy. So what does this indicate? This indicates the heart of Krishna. Just imagine if a person is willing to facilitate a rebellion. If someone says, I hate you, I want to go against you, I want to act independent of you, And Krishna says, okay, I'll make all the arrangements for this. So can you imagine what would be the soft, compassionate heart of such a person when someone says, I want to love you, serve you, reciprocate with you and please you? What would be the extent of feeling which would flow from the heart of such a person? So therefore, the first two topics is Sarga, which is primary creation, which is all the elements provided for the material world, the raw materials provided for creating the material world, and Visarga is how Brahmaji takes all of that raw materials, the 24 elements, and puts it all together in the form of the various facilities within this material world. That's the context of Sarga and Visarga. And so Brahmaji is the first created person who is given that task. But then Brahmaji is also informed by Krishna that the way you design this material world should be such that the soul in whichever body should be able to experience pleasure, but also you have to have inbuilt pain mechanism. Then only the soul will know I am not supposed to be here, because when you put your finger in the fire, it burns, so you know my finger should not be here, you get your finger out. So pain which is embedded in any system is supposed to communicate, maybe I am out of place here. And therefore Brahmaji prays, Kshutritridat virimam muhurardhyamanam Shitoshnavat varashaitiriktaraj. My dear Lord, you have asked me to create bodies which will be subjected to kapha, vata, pitta, birth, old age, disease. And you have asked me to embed within everyone's heart lust, anger, greed. And there is all kinds of external calamities due to weather, due to all kinds of trauma which the soul will experience within this body. After having your divine darshan, I thought that I will get some enjoyable service. But you have given me the service of putting all the souls through pain. And I am feeling very traumatized that I have to do this. But the Lord tells Brahmaji, you have to put the souls in this material world through situations of trauma and anxiety and pain so that they are able to realize, let me make an effort to get out of this place and find out what is my original position. So there is a reason behind this pain. There is a purpose behind the pain. And therefore, Krishna is instructing Brahmaji to embed pain as part of his design, and that's known as Sarga and Visarga. Like we had a temple many years ago in West Coast. This is the early 70s. And they were celebrating Narsingha Chaturdashi. Amazing festival, but fasting till evening. Everybody was hungry. And they had made a nice carrot cake and offered it to the deities. And when the final arati was happening, all the bhoga items are still on the altar, and everybody could see that cake. And they were all young devotees, and they were kind of excited. We're going to get this cake, we're going to get this cake. And then after that, when the distribution began, when the cake was distributed to the first person, immediately he pounced upon it. And when he tasted the cake, he found out that the cook had made one mistake. Forgot to add sugar in the cake. That cake tasted very strange. But because he had been contemplating on on eating that cake for such a long time, he could not accept that the cake will taste like that. So there was a gap between his expectation and the reality. And so he thought, maybe I bit the cake from the wrong side. He turned the cake around and took a bite from another portion. Will the taste change? No. But because he had been meditating and planning for a long time that I am going to get pleasure out of it, he just would not accept that this will give me pain. So he kept the cake on the side, in the plate only. Continued eating the chapati. Kept looking at that cake. Meditating. Thinking that maybe the timing was wrong. Let me give it some time. If I give it some time, it may change. But no. Within this material world, any relationships are ultimately laced with potential misery. So that's the whole context of the Bhagavatam of Parikshit. Suddenly cursed. And then he looks at all the sages and says, Tasya eva meghasya paravareshu vyasakta chittasya griheshu bhikshnam. This curse is not a calamity. This curse is a blessing. Because it is giving me an opportunity to cut myself from objects, people, positions, circumstances of this world, which promise pleasure, but which deliver pain in the ultimate analysis. And therefore, this gives me an opportunity to develop a relationship with you, my dear Lord. Nirveda molo dvijashapa rupo. I consider the curse given by Shringi to be an opportunity to detach myself and my feelings from this world. Yatra prasakto bhayamashu dhatte. And sometimes one has to be forcibly uprooted because certain situations are such that we can't do anything about it. With our intelligence, with our influence, with our political ability, with all of our financial planning, you do what you can. And you just have to accept the reality. There was a gentleman who was, crossing the river in a boat. There was a big, powerful, hefty-looking wrestler sitting right next to him. So in the middle of the river, this guy asked this wrestler, "What's the time? Can you tell me the time?" So this wrestler took his fist and hit it hard on this guy's head. And he was totally bewildered. And all the people sitting nearby started telling this guy who got hit, "Hey, you should protest against this. Hit him back, we are with you. You make the first move, we'll support you. This is injustice. You asked him the time and he hit you. This is not fair." So this guy was still reeling under that attack, paining. But he thought, let me clarify, let me ask why he hit me. And plus he saw his size also. So he asked him, "Sir, I humbly asked you for the time. Why did you hit me?" So the wrestler said, "Oh, you asked me for the time? It's 1 o'clock. That's my way to communicate. 1 o'clock? You got hit on the head." So all the others said to this man, "Hey, this is unfair. Come on, let's hit him." And this guy was like still massaging his head. And he said, "No, I'm glad that I didn't ask him the time 1 hour earlier." Because certain situations are such that I better accept and adjust as per the situation. I don't have a choice. So Parikshit Maharaj was in this situation where he had no choice. So the first canto gives an introduction to the Srimad Bhagavatam. The context of how the speaker, the hearer, how they came together. And when Parikshit looks at Shukadeva Goswami, he says, Yesham samsmarat pumsam sadyo shuddhanti vaikriha. Just by having darshan of such great souls as you, our homes are purified. Kim punar darshana sparjata dashaujasanati. Jai Shri Sravanam. And what to speak of washing the lotus feet of great souls like you. And then Parikshit says, I'm wondering, my dear Shukadeva Goswami, how come at this moment when I needed you the most, you have arrived? What could be the reason that I get the privilege of your association to hear the Bhagavatam from you directly? And he says, Opi me Bhagavan Pritat Krishna Pandu Sudat Priyam. It is not because of my qualification. Dear Shukadeva Goswami, you are here because Krishna loves the Pandavas. And because Krishna loves the Pandavas, Krishna is tracking what is going on in the lives of the family members of the Pandavas. And that's the power of becoming a devotee of Krishna, where one gets the protection of Krishna, not just for oneself in this life, but Krishna extends that protection even to family members beyond this life. And therefore, my only qualification, Parikshit says, is I'm Arjuna's grandson. Krishna loves Arjuna, so I'm getting that benefit. So Srila Prabhupada writes, the best way you can serve your family and protect your family's interests is by becoming a devotee of Krishna. And the Bhagavatam says 21 generations are given that protection and liberated. So when I joined ISKCON, my family was pretty embarrassed. And so many relatives would ask, what is your son doing? And they would say, he's in Mumbai. And they would say, what is he doing? They say, he's in Mumbai. But he must be doing something. Yeah, he's in Mumbai. So one of my cousins was watching the television, and I used to speak on a television program called Atma Serial, Gita Lectures. So he was flipping through the channels and he saw my face. He stopped and called my mother. Hey, I saw someone on television looks like this guy. He said, yeah, he's the same one. I said, but his hairstyle is totally different. He said, yeah, he's now become Hare Krishna. So the family said, oh, at least among so many cousins, one guy is doing something sensible. So let us have, a program. We want to hear the Gita from him. So we organized a whole Gita lecture. I had at least 150 of my family members who came. It was like a congregation program in itself. And for that lecture, I took one more devotee with me because you can't give lecture in family. So this devotee said, as per the Bhagavatam, because, pointing to me, because he has become a devotee, 21 generations of your family members, including all of you, will go to the spiritual world Vaikuntha. And everybody clapped. And they were all smiling. And after the lecture, one cousin came up to me and said, continue chanting Hare Krishna. Please don't stop. I said, if you have any problem, let me know. We didn't know that. Your practice is going to affect us also. So Parikshit, when he is sitting there, he is acknowledging the magnanimous heart of Krishna. That Krishna remembers the Pandavas' devotional service and continues to reciprocate with the Pandavas next generation also. And so, the first, then the second and the third cantos describe about how the material world is created, how Krishna is giving instructions to Brahma through the 4 seed verses Chatushloki Bhagavatam. And then how Brahma begins the process of creation. At the very beginning of creation itself, he faces so many obstacles, difficulties, challenges. He tells the Kumaras to create further progeny, they refuse. And then Rudra is created, then Lord Varahadev appears, the earth is out of orbit, the Manus are created. The entire process of populating this material world is full of challenges, and all of that is the topic of the third canto. And then Lord Kapila explains to his mother Devahuti the whole process of bhakti in a mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. And so the fourth canto begins with a description of bhakti in the mode of ignorance represented by Shiva, represented by Daksha in his reciprocation with Shiva. So Daksha feels offended that Shiva does not welcome him and respect him, and he becomes angry. And therefore, devotional practice done under the influence of ego and mode of ignorance is represented by Daksha. And then Dhruva Maharaj represents devotional service done under the influence of mode of passion, where he is insulted, he wants to sit on his father's lap on the throne. His stepmother stops him, he becomes angry, and he decides to take revenge. And he wants a kingdom greater than that of his great-grandfather. Narad Muni tries to get him out of this thought, saying that you are only a small child, and saying that Gunadikam mudam lipchet anukrosham gunadamat maitrin samanadan vichilna tapaya vibhuyate. You must always feel positive about others' progress. You must feel compassion for those who are less fortunate. You must glorify those who are your equals. And Dhruva says to Narad Muni, it's a fantastic lecture you have given. It doesn't apply to me, because my heart is filled with the desire for revenge. And so Narad Muni gives him the mantra, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mantrenanena devasya kuryadravyamayim buddham saparyadividai dravya desha kala vibhagavit. And as per time, place and circumstance, chant this mantra. Dhruva chants that, and he gets the Lord's darshan. And the Lord gives him the position of Dhruva Loka, a planet within this material world which is a spiritual planet. Thus demonstrating that even if one has all material desires, one can take to the process of bhakti, the mode of passion. And the mode of goodness is represented by Prithu Maharaj. Prithu Maharaj is an incarnation of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. And then he decides to perform 100 horse sacrifices. When he has completed 99, Indra feels insecurity. Indra feels Prithu will take over my position. So competition, conflict, insecurity, these are all regular patterns within this world. Indra steals that sacrificial horse. And then there is a conflict. Prithu Maharaj's son Vijitashva attacks Indra. Indra, to protect himself, changes his dresses, takes the dress of all kinds of impostor renunciants. And then Prithu Maharaj is about to attack. The Brahmanas tell him, you don't bother to kill. We have enough mantras by which we will bring Indra and throw him into the sacrificial fire. you relax. And as they are about to chant that mantra to bring him, Brahmaji arrives. And Brahma says, what's going on here? I have created all of the system of dharma so that there is peace, not this kind of conflict. And therefore he turns to Prabhu and says, you are supposed to be an incarnation to protect and preserve dharma. Sometimes in the course of performing our activities and being absorbed in the details, you may forget the very reason why you started that activity. And therefore, we need some course correction here. Prabhu, there is a serious mission drift here. Come back. But what about my 100? He says, no. For you, 99 is sufficient. Because you have to decide your priority. Prabhu, do you want the position of Indra in heavenly planets? Or do you want to take the position within Krishna's heart? Decide your priority. Do you want the position in the heavenly planet? Or do you want to enter and sit on the throne within Krishna's heart? So if you want to enter Krishna's heart, you have to compromise. And therefore Prithu Maharaj takes a step back. That stepping back and accepting that compromise was his devotional victory. It was a political loss, but a devotional victory. And therefore Srimad Bhagavatam brings forth many such possible equations which we may not have considered in life. And so finally, the Lord is very pleased with Prithu Maharaj, because ultimately he says that the purpose of this creation is to enable one's remembrance of Krishna. Right? So, there is Kumbh Mela going on, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj comes and starts complaining to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, there is a major difference of opinion going on between two devotees. It began like a simple debate. It is growing into a major conflict. Prabhupada said, what happened? So Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Madhudesha Prabhu is saying that the difference between Krishna and Balaram is Krishna is black and Balaramji is white complexion. Prabhupada said, he's right. So then Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, but Yamuna Devi, she's saying that the difference between Krishna and Balaram is that only Krishna enjoys with Radharani and not Balaram. Prabhupada said, she's right. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, both are saying two different things. How can both be right? Prabhupada said, you are right. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, what is the right answer? Prabhupada said, you decide. And then Prabhupada said, people call me Prabhupada, but they treat me like problem pad. And they think I will have the answer to every problematic query you will come up with. So therefore, the Prithu Maharaj episode demonstrates bhakti in a mode of goodness. And more important than competition, conflict, trying to prove oneself, is to have harmony, to accept whatever is told. So this is Sarga and Visarga. The third topic in the Bhagavatam is Sthanam, which means position. Right from the first chapter of the 5th canto, there is description of the pastime of Bharat Maharaj. First begins with Priyavrat, and then Rishabdev and Rishabdev's son Bharat. And all of this describing how one can follow one's particular duties in life and be engaged in devotional service, even within one's family. And then the entire description of the 14 planetary systems is described. Depending on the desire we have, we are given a position within any of these 14 planetary systems. So the entire geography of the creation is described. Based on the karma, based on the capital of karma, we would be provided a facility within a specific body, within a specific part of this creation. And this entire geography is described in such detail that Srila Prabhupada said, to allow people to understand this, we should create an entire temple of Vedic planetarium, TOVP. And that's what is being made in Mayapur, which will be open in 2025. Where when you enter the temple hall, you see the Radha Madhav in front, but when you look up, you will see all the different planets arrayed within the design of the chandelier of the main temple hall, so that you know, this is where I am and this is where I am supposed to go. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada specifically, focused on this. And in many of his conversations, Srila Prabhupada would provoke people by challenging their understanding and by saying that the Vedic cosmology is quite different from our understanding. And then suddenly Srila Prabhupada would say, did you know that the sun is closer to the earth than the moon? And Prabhupada would deliberately do that to provoke. And people would say, what? Sun is closer than the moon? How is it possible? Why? And Prabhupada said, because Sunday comes before Monday. He said, what? Doesn't make sense. Prabhupada said, our scientists are working on it and we will come with this, planetarium model and you will understand. So lots of devotees have worked on the exact understanding of this. And Srila Prabhupada really wanted the science and spirituality to come together. And he established one vertical which is known as Bhaktivedanta Institute. And he requested the scientists of the BI to work on this and to make sure that all of this is revealed to the people in due course of time. Like that. So I remember that in 1997 the BI came up with a conference of synthesis of science and religion. This was in Kolkata and I was also attending there. And it used to be such complex presentations, nobody could understand what's going on. But the best part was the Prasadam. But the most difficult part was the post-lunch session. The auditorium, lights would be turned down and quantum mechanics would be the topic. And you could hear snoring sound around. So after one such session, Radhanath Maharaj met me and said, I think you are from IIT, you must be understanding what they are saying. I said, yeah. I understand some of it. But Maharaj, I go to sleep in between. Maharaj said, you're lucky, for me I wake up in between. So Prabhupada really wanted that apart from the direct Shastric presentation, there is a whole class of people who put a lot of faith in science and they must be able to correlate with this idea. And therefore, the scientific preaching was established. And Sthanam basically means understanding the positions within this creation of based on our karma, based on our proclivity, where we can go and experience what kind of position. Then comes Poshanam. The topic of Poshanam basically means how Krishna nourishes his devotees. What is the meaning of Poshanam? nourishment, which means someone may make a mistake. But even if they make a mistake, because they are connected to Krishna, Krishna says, I offer them special protection, special concession. Concession? Why? Because they are my devotees. And how you can give? Because I am Krishna. But I have so many questions. Sorry, no questions. Why? Because I am Krishna. Supreme Personality of God. And this is what I have designed. And therefore the 6th canto begins with the Ajamil pastime, who performed so many sins. But at the moment of death, he called on to his son Narayan, and he was protected. Mriyamano harir nama grana putro vacharitam Ajamilo vyagadhama kim punashadhyanam. Ajamil chanted or called out only at the time of death. He was not chanting 16 rounds every day. Ajamil called out to his son, he didn't call out to Krishna. Ajamil was leading a sinful life. And Ajamil never heard glories of the holy name. Still he was protected. Still he was protected. So what does this Ajamil pastime indicate? If with such a slight connection with Krishna, if someone gets so much of benefit, what to speak of is someone enters into the process of chanting diligently, seriously, in an absorbed manner. Kim puna shraddhaya. So this whole Ajamil pastime is to inspire serious and absorbed practice of bhakti. Right? One college student was talking to me and I asked him, who's your favorite character in scripture? And he said, Ajamil. I said, come on, there are so many powerful characters, Bhishma and Pandavas and this and that. Why you like Ajamil? He said, you know what? Ajamil enjoyed life and went back to Bhagavad also. He did good. He enjoyed also, went back to Bhagavad also. I said, he did. You may not be able to go back to Bhagavad. So I was traveling in a flight. When I was chanting very gently, and one lady was sitting behind me, old lady. She tapped me from behind and said, hey, don't shout. Do silent meditation. Don't chant like this. So that then I, became even more subdued in my chanting. And then suddenly at that point there was somebody who was on a flight for the first time and he drank so much liquor that he went out of control. Started shouting, screaming and speaking all kinds of stuff. And the airport staff, the airline staff was having a tough time controlling him. Suddenly this lady from behind again taps me and says, what happened? She says, can you control him with your mantra chanting? I said, this mantra chanting is for me to control myself. If I can do that, that will be a big thing. So the topic of Poshanam basically means you chant Krishna's holy name or connect with Krishna a little bit, Krishna will protect you even if you make a mistake. Like Ajamil, like Indra and who offended Brihaspati, like Chitraketu Maharaj who insulted, or at least Parvati felt he is insulting Shiva and cursed him to become Rudrasur. But even as a demon, he was a devotee and he was glorifying Krishna. Right? And he said, Yuyutsatam putra jiratatayina. In this world, there is only one person who is always victorious, Lord Krishna. Everybody else has to go through ups and downs. So, that's the topic of the 6th canto, Poshanam or nourishment. Then comes the next topic, Utayaha, Uti. Uti means Shubh, Ashubh Ichha, which means favorable and unfavorable desires. Auspicious and inauspicious desires. So 7th canto describes this. Narasimhadev came to destroy Hiranyakashipu. So Hiranyakashipu's personification of inauspicious desires. Prahlad is an incarnation or an embodiment of auspicious desires. And that is what is described as Utayaha. Sa ettam nirjitakaku ekarat vishyan priyam dhopajosham bhunjanam na tripyat ajitendriya. Hiranyakashipu had everything available to enjoy. He had access to all the sense objects, but was totally miserable. So we are inspired to follow Prahlad's example and not Hiranyakashipu's example. And even a little bit of relationship with Krishna puts us on the path of auspiciousness. In one of our college programs, there was this boy who was always preaching. I told him, "Are study also, Baba?" He says, "No, Krishna is there." And you have told in your lecture, Krishna always protect devotee. So I said, "Arey, tomorrow if you fail, you will put it on me." So one day before exam, he was just standing in front of Radha Gopinath and praying. Half an hour. I got worried. I came to him and said, "What are you praying?" He said, "I am telling Radha Gopinath, whole campus knows I am Hare Krishna devotee. The future of the preaching of Hare Krishna on the campus now is in your hands, Radha Gopinath." I said, "What a negotiation you are doing." Next day he went for the exam. 2 months later the results came. He passed. It was the biggest sensational news in the whole campus. When I went for the program that evening, usually for my lectures in college programs, 5 to 8 people would come in that college. For my lecture, 8 people. For Poshanam, 45 people. That was the average. And sometimes in the middle of the lecture, students would open the door and see me inside still talking. And they become upset. "He's still talking." And they close the door. And they thought I am coming between them and Prasad. So that day for lecture, 50 people were sitting. I looked around and said, "Why have all of you come today?" And they said, taking the name of that boy, "If that fellow has passed this exam, it means Krishna has to be Supreme Personality of God." So we started now believing in this. So I told the student, "Baba, in undergraduation you put a lot of pressure on Krishna. In post-graduation at least you study." So he took that seriously, studied well. In post-graduation he got university gold medal. So Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu are representing these two extremes. Auspicious desires, which comes with a relationship with Krishna. Inauspicious desires to think, "I am the center of the universe." Ego. The ego cannot be destroyed in the sky. The ego cannot be destroyed on the ground. The ego cannot be destroyed outside the home. Ego cannot be destroyed inside the palace. The ego cannot be destroyed by any weapon, living or dead. And to destroy that ego, the Lord has to manifest as Narasimhadev. Manvantara is the next topic, which basically means the Lord manifests during all the Manu's period and perform pastimes and helps the souls, just like during Gajendra's time he appeared as Hari and saved Gajendra. He manifests during the Samudra Manthan, churning of the milk ocean, and helps the demigods in their journey. He appears as Vamanadev and helps Indra. So the Lord is always there to support. That is called Manvantara. To show that I am always supporting you in your efforts. You just begin the process of serving me and my support will be there. Ishanu Katham. The ninth canto describes various pastimes of the Lord with his devotees, demonstrating how the Lord reciprocates with his devotees. Someone like Ambarish, who is such a great king, is attacked by Durvasa Muni, but the Lord manifests his Sudarshan Chakra. Durvasa Muni is chased everywhere, including to Vaikuntha. Durvasa created history by becoming the first person to be in Vaikuntha in anxiety. And the Lord said, go and take shelter of Ambarish. So when he comes back, Ambarish withdraws the Sudarshan Chakra, and Durvasa Muni glorifies, Aho Ananda Dasanam Mahatvam Drishtamadhyame. Today I can recognize you, Ambarish, as a Vaishnava, because forgiveness is the blood group of a Vaishnava. I tried to kill you, but you forgive me. And in this way, the pastime of Ramachandra is also described. And after having described all of that, the 10th canto begins. But we'll come to the 10th canto last. But 11th canto is Mukti, which basically is liberation. Krishna speaking to Uddhava and winding down his pastimes. And Krishna ended the pastimes by making the Yadavas kill each other, demonstrating that this world is a place of misery. Even my own family members are not spared. See the ugly, ghastly way in which my family departed. Don't have hopes in this world. And so Krishna spoke to Uddhava, the Uddhav Gita. Uddhav surrenders to Krishna and takes the message to the Badrikashram. The 12th canto is Nirodha, which basically means annihilation, pralay. Universal pralay, partial pralay. Elements are always in pralay or destruction. But the most important topic of Nirodha is destruction and annihilation of one's ego. So how the ego can be destroyed, and how will it be destroyed? By taking shelter of Ashraya, which is the 10th canto, the 10th topic, which is Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nirodha Muktir Ashraya. So all the chapters of the 10th canto, beginning from Krishna's appearance, showing that you have to be hopeful like Vasudeva and Devaki, that in spite of losing 6 sons, they continue to hope that we will have Krishna as our son. Right? I was giving a talk in IIT on Janmashtami, and one student came up to me and said, well, if the Akashvani or the sound from the sky said that the 8th son of Devaki is going to be the cause of killing of Kamsa, Kamsa should have put Vasudeva in one jail, Devaki in another jail, not even one son would be born. Could Kamsa not think of such a simple idea? I said, what to do? Kamsa did not go to IIT like you. But the reason Krishna orchestrates this is to show relationship with me and my shelter is available for someone with this most important qualification, who is always hopeful. And therefore, the Bhagavatam is spoken to a person who is facing death. And that person who is facing death is telling the speaker, Vayam dhanyatama loke guropi kshatravandav. We are the most fortunate, O Shukadeva Goswami. In 3 days he is going to die. And he is saying, we are the most fortunate. One who gets association of devotees is fortunate. One who gets to hear in association of devotees is more fortunate. And one who gets to hear repeatedly the Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees is the most fortunate. And I am very happy to be speaking to a group of most fortunate devotees in the association here at the Bhakti Center. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
What we'll do is we'll move all of these red cushions to the side so everyone can come forward and dance and sing and arati. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
ki Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namo Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Srila Paramahamsa Parabhajikacharya Astotra Sutta Srimad Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parabhajikacharya Astotra Sutta Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Gaudiya Vaishnava Vrindi Ki Jai Nam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Kali Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanande All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the divine lotus feet of Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Bhagavad Sravana program every Sunday at the same time. Please come, bring your family, bring your friends. It's our program for devotees. And next week we are going to have beautiful kirtan and class by Sandipani Moon coming from London. And the following week we will have Damodar Das and Radha Gopinath Prabhu from Chowpatty. They are incredible community builders. And they will be both speaking together actually on devotee care. So we're really looking forward to having them here. We also have some upcoming special events. A one-day retreat with Krishna Kshetra Swami on the Chaitanya Charitamrita on October 14th. A one-day retreat with Mahatma Prabhu on Saturday, August 26th on self-care. And festival season is coming up. We have Julan Yatra starting with a special Bhagavad Sravana on Sunday, August 27th with Mahatma Prabhu. And then we'll have Monday night, Tuesday night, culminating and Wednesday night, which is August 30th, Balaram Jayanti Festival. And then Krishna Janmashtami is on Wednesday, September 6th from 6:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. The theme is Krishna, meditation on his divine form. So we'll be through lectures, bhajans, kirtans going on, and the meditation from Krishna's feet to his face. And we also, we have many other things going on here. If you want to get more information, you can go to our website and scroll down to the bottom and click on Join Our Temple Newsletter, and you'll get what I'm reading from, which is a weekly email that gives you everything that's going on at Bhakti Center. So I highly recommend you sign up for that. Please stay. I just want to give a big, everyone look behind you. We have a beautiful team of volunteers who helps produce this program every week, including Jenna and Raj and Nick and Akeshvara, who sets up every week, and Sush, and who else is back there? I can't see that far. Amish? Yes. Yes, yes. Thank you all so much. Let's give them a big round of applause. It's because of them that this program happens every week, and we're so grateful to them. If you want to be part of the team, you can come see me afterwards. And stay, take Poshanam, lunch, and give a donation if you can, and come back. Bhakti Center is your home. If you have any questions, we can serve you in any way. Please let us know. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Can I make a request? So yeah, this box is fun. I was going to say you bring one color roses, we use them in the garden. This is good, thank you. Prabhuji was also there.
I got it. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Thank you. I have been, yes. Thank you for the blessings. It's so. Thank you so much. Yes. They all listen to one good teacher. Guide and amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes, I've been there and it's such a special place. I went
Jagannatha.